Welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2017. I'm Max Kova. One of the best announcements this year was Dragon Ball FighterZ with a Z. And I'm here with Hiroki-san, the producer, who's being translated by Mikey, and the game is being played live right over there by Denny. I'm really excited about this. I love Dragon Ball. Huge fan of the series. Now, this is a 2.5D 3v3 fighting game developed by Arc Systems Works, who are known for kind of Guilty Gear, which is a very fast-paced, fun game. And now you're doing that with Dragon Ball characters. Now, obviously, picking characters in a fighting game you enjoy is good, but do they come together just kind of for the heck of it, or is there a science to getting the right characters you want fighting?
キャラクターを選ぶことに対して少しそういったこう考えというか哲学はあるんでしょうかとキャラクター選択に。
そうですね。今回はドラゴンボールの本格的な格闘ゲームっていうところなので、どういうキャラクターにするかっていうのは非常に悩みました。で、通常のドラゴンボールであれば、人気キャラクターっていうところをおそらく選ぶことがセオリーだと思うんですけれども、今回は格闘ゲームなので、格闘ゲームのキャラクターとして、しっかりと個性あるバトルができるキャラクターっていうのを、選択しているつもりです。
So, as you know, traditionally with Dragon Ball, because it is such a character-driven property, we would normally just pick the characters that have the most popularity and just keep going down the list. But because we wanted this game to be taken very seriously on a competitive, almost esports level, we're actually selecting characters that would have the most unique kind of attacks and bring their uniqueness, but also be competitive and balanced in the context of a more competitive fighting game scene.
Now, of course, this is just an E3 demo. You guys, clearly, you're working on it very hard. It's going to have more than 6 characters, right?
これはもちろんE3 のデモということで、少し皆さん一生懸命開発を進めていると思うんですけど、もちろん6キャラ以上は期待できるという。
そうですね。6キャラ以上はもちろんこれから続々と発売までに登場を紹介していきたいと思っています。
Yes, there will be more than 6 characters, and between now and the game's release, we're gonna slowly tease them out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little weird if it was a 3v3 fighting game that only had 3 against 3 total.
3対3のゲームで合計6キャラだけだとちょっとあれっていう感じになるんで。大丈夫ですか？
Now, obviously, the visuals are very stylized and very exciting, and the camera moves around a lot, but you're still having, it's 31 hit combos and right. Complex gameplay. Could you talk a little bit about how the mechanics of the game work, just in terms of it being a fighter?
ゲームのシステムについてお話しいただいてよろしいでしょうか。っていうのもすごくダイナミックなこういうカメラアングルで演出してて、先ほどおっしゃったその真面目な格闘ゲーム。それ以上に本当30何ヒットコンボとかすごいカジュアルな人でも遊べそうなこういう要素をどういうふうに取り入れてゲームのデザインをされたんでしょうか。
そうですね。多分おそらくですね、普通の格闘ゲームと違うっていうところはやっぱりドラゴンボールの要素っていうのをたくさん入れ込んだことによって、おそらく普通の格闘ゲームとは違う作りになっていると思います。
So I definitely think it's not going to be your run-of-the-mill fighting game, especially because we wanted to get as much of that Dragon Ball-ness into it, if you will.
例えば、ドラゴンボールってやはり空中で戦うバトルが多いんですけれども、今回空中のバトルが発生しやすいようにホーミングダッシュを、ワンボタンで打てるというスーパーダッシュっていう仕様とかも入れてます。
So, for example, a lot of the fighting in the anime for Dragon Ball, for example, takes place in midair. So once you launch an opponent, we have a system where the player can, with one button, homing. It's called the homing dash. You dash up to your opponent to have this really flashy, kind of cool midair battles.
あとはやっぱりドラゴンボールといえば気ダメ、はーっていう気ダメとかがやはり特徴的だと思うので、自分で任意に気をためるような、システムを入れたりとか、あと通常格闘ゲームだと投げ技っていう、ガードの対抗技があると思うんですけども、それが今のドラゴンラッシュっていうですね、投げ技に対抗するドラゴンラッシュをやって空中に蹴り上げるっていう技とかも入れてます。
And of course, I think another big element of the Dragon Ball franchise is when they charge up their ki. And of course, that is built into the super meter. And there's a mechanic where the characters can charge up their ki. And it's kind of a risk-reward kind of system because you're vulnerable, but you can use really big super attacks. Also, in lieu of throwing mechanic, there is a special Dragon Rush where you just chase your opponent, you launch him into the air, and that's in case the opponent's really heavy on the blocking. You would normally throw someone, but we have a system called Dragon Rush instead.
Wow. So we just watched Goku win, like he tends to. Is it possible to have a party of good guys and bad guys working together, or it doesn't have to be canonical, right?
もちろんこのゲームその原作に沿っていいやつ対悪いやつっていうイメージじゃなくて本当にもう好きなキャラクターを組み合わせることは可能な。
グッドクエスチョン今回 3on3 にした、理由の一つとしてはやっぱりファンの皆様にドラゴンボール、フリーザ、セルの3人のチーム組んだらどんな戦い方ができるんだろうっていうのも自分で体験してほしくて 3on3 にしたっていうことも 3on3 にした理由の一つとしてあります。
So there is of course another big reason why we designed this game to be a 3v3 fighter, which is I think everyone has their own unique dream team. And that would not be possible in the canon Dragon Ball anime, manga, whatever property you might look at. It's just not possible. So, for example, if you want to really see Goku, Frieza, and Cell fighting on the same side, now that's possible.
Okay. Now, this makes me really happy. It seems very true to form because obviously Dragon Ball is such a staple of martial arts fiction. And as a fighting game, that makes perfect sense. And having it in sort of traditional, you know, two-dimensional-ish sense makes a lot of sense. Are we going to get a campaign along with this?
まあこれに沿ってもちろんすごいこうドラゴンボールが格闘ゲームで進化するのはもう当たり前かのようなんですけど、これの、まあキャンペーンというかストーリー的なそういう要素は入れる予定はあるんでしょうかと。
そうですね。もちろん対戦っていうところに、非常に力を入れている作品にありますけど、当然ソロプレイというところも、かなり充実していると思いますのでお楽しみください。
What I can tell you right now is that we are emphasizing heavily the battle mechanics and the sort of system through which the characters are going to be fighting each other, but we do have a pretty robust solo play mode arrangement that we are designing right now. We just can't go into too much detail at the moment.
Okay. Now, obviously, it's called Dragon Ball FighterZ. It has a Z in the title, but everyone right now is watching Super, and of course there's also GT, and then there's also just, you know, younger Dragon Ball, which is my personal favorite. Are we going to see characters brought in from all ends of the saga?
まあドラゴンファイター Z、まあ Z って書いてあるだけやっぱ Z に特化したキャラクターの選択になるのか、それともスーパーとかカイとかGT から他のところからも入れ込む予定はあるんでしょうかと。
そうですね。今キャラクターの選択については本当交互期待っていうところではあるんですけれども、まあ一つお伝えすると、まあ幅広い層のお客様に遊んでもらいたいなと思ってます。
Again, kind of regarding the character selection, we can't go into too much detail, but what I can leave you with is that we want fans of all generations and eras of Dragon Ball to kind of all collude on this platform.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to this showing up at EVO at some point. I think it would be quite a lot of fun to watch a bunch of Dragon Ball characters fighting each other in a way that maybe doesn't make sense in the story, but works quite a lot, and it is fun to look at. One last question. Dragon Ball's known for just blowing up the world and really making a mess of things. Are these environments destructible?
世界とか破壊してしまうような、まあ、そういう演出はドラゴンボールですごい知られてるんですけど、この環境っていうのはやっぱりそれに応じて変化することはあるんでしょうか。
そうですね。もしかしたら今ちょうど変化するかもしなかった。すいません。今回破壊っていうところの表現に関してはかなり開発陣も力を入れてました。
Yes, there were a lot. We put a lot of energy into the element or aspect of destruction in this game.
で、もちろん戦っている最中に、気を打った時に気弾の弾きをすると後ろのオブジェクトがバーンって壊れたりとか、もしますし、最後特定の技で必殺技を決めて倒すと、例えばこのナメック星は、ナメック星崩壊のステージに変わるっていうような仕様も入っているので、これは今うまくいけば変わらなかった。はい。
So there is a lot of sort of environment and interaction with the environment. For example, if someone charges up ki and throws a projectile and the other person deflects it, it'll actually hit the environment and alter its sort of look. And for example, right now we're looking at planet Namek. But if you use a huge move on planet Namek, you're going to see the destroyed version of planet Namek.
That's what I was hoping to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, Frieza blew up Namek again. Okay, like I was like, you know, there's times when Dragon Ball gets a little crazy and they just level a forest, but yeah, you're blowing up Namek. Okay, when can people expect to see Dragon Ball Fighters?
いつ頃これは期待できるんでしょうか。
はい、今2018年のアーリーを目指して頑張ってます。
Right now we are working really hard to bring this to you early 2018.
Wonderful. I'm very excited about this. The blowing up Namek part really kind of got me. So thank you so much for coming by. Wonderful talking. We've got lots more coverage coming up from E3, so don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on IGN.